This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. How the devil are we? It's Tuesday, it's the football show, and well, what we're going to talk about? Well, we've got a couple of things this evening. First of all, they say bad things comes in threes. So Tottenham Hotspur, let's have a look. ESL, that collapsed. 1. Didn't do very well in the Carabao Cup final, did you? That's 2. 3, Brendan Rodgers told you where to go. Yes. He, allegedly come out and said it. Leicester boss not interested in talking to Tottenham over managerial vacancy, says Sky News. Rob Dorsey, who's pretty much on top of these things. So we'll have a chat about that, and we've got to be happy with that, haven't we? Something else to be happy with. And hey, I tell you what, if you're a Tottenham fan watching, you might want to buy this. And buy it now, because Daniel Levy will love you, because you'll get 30% off. Minding My Own Football Business, the story of Leicester City in the 90s, and going from private to public ownership and everything that went on in our successful years in the 90s, in fairness, under Brian Little and Martin O'Neill. Daniel, buy it, read it. You might learn something. And Daniel, if you go to all the W's, mindingmyownfootballbusiness.co.uk, Barry will give you 30% off, and he'll even type a nice little message in the cover for you. Dear Daniel, this is how you do it. Yes. I mean, hey, I might buy one and just send it to him. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to waste my money on a Tottenham there. Club, do you? Anyway, this is Leicester Till I Die TV. We are live on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give that subscribe button a little click and link into us. That would be great. Facebook, it is Leicester Till I Die, the group. And in the Twitter sphere, it's at Leicester TID. I'm going to welcome in my first guest of the evening. He's going to co-host the show with me. And let me just get everything lined up for him, make him feel nice and welcome, and say good evening to you, Scott. Good evening, Scott.
Hi, Chris. You all right, mate?
Yeah, not so bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So, I was laid on my bed, disappointed my gardener hadn't come around to do my gardening, thinking, what's going to cheer me up today? And then up on Sky News, it pops, Leicester boss not interested in talking to Tottenham over managerial vacancy. I mean, I guess we kind of knew it deep down, didn't we? But it's, it's kind of, I mean, again, it's not been attributed to him because I suppose, the guys have got to keep their options open. But, alleged links, it's great news.
It is, yeah. And to be honest, I think realistically, if you're Brandan, you wouldn't really want to go to Tottenham Hotspur with all the bad press they've had just recently anyway. But, he's come out a couple of times over the last couple of months, and he stated that when it comes to like a project and things like that, he's still got so much that him, the team, the staff behind him, and everything like that want to achieve.
Yes.
So in that regard, I don't think there was really much of any doubt, if anything, to be honest.
No. I mean, and it gets me. I'm just going to say good evening to Stephen Collins. I'm seeing more of you than my missus. I don't know whether that says more about me or your missus, Stephen. I really don't. The weekly armchair podcast, Spurs would be a step down. Well, in fairness, at the moment, yes, it would. Let's not lie, and. Yes, they've got the brand new stadium. I mean, I look at it. I don't know if you agree with me, Scott, but with Arsenal, when they started to have their problems was when they built this huge brand new stadium that they couldn't really afford. And since then, they had no money to spend on players. They had to sell to get people in. And I have the feeling it would probably now be the same. Well, we know they're in debt, but it'd be the same now with Tottenham.
I think it's just in general. If you have a look at a lot of the clubs that have had new stadiums and then how they've done in seasons after sort of thing, they've all struggled. It seems to be a pattern sort of thing, and it's one of those. I think if Tottenham do get an half decent manager in, it might stabilise them and it might sort of push them on sort of thing. But I think at the minute, in my mind, even with this news about Brandan, I didn't have any doubts whatsoever towards him.
I think as well, for me, there was a lot of acrimony when Brandan left Celtic to come to us, the way he left. I mean, I think he did it right because Celtic were always going to win the treble. He had something to prove in the Premier League because you or me could probably go up and manage Celtic to 3 titles when Rangers are not even in the division. But he left, I think, at the right time because it gave him those 10 games, and I said this at the time, to see his players in competitive matches. And I think you learn more from that than no matter how many friendlies you play. I think you learn more about your players than in friendlies. But he will eventually go. I honestly believe that. But I think he can't leave yet because I think he could end up with a reputation.
Yeah, on that, I think with Celtic I know he has stated before that he is an avid Celtic supporter, and fair enough to him. He's been there, he's done the job that he could do, and he's moved on to another club, another project, sort of thing. Yeah. But I do think that he didn't really have much more that he could do at Celtic with the funds that he had coming to him and everything like that. He was always looking for the next project. And I just think, now he's at Leicester, he's got owners that will back him in, the training ground itself.
Mm-hmm.
He had, like he said in an interview, he had his say on what he wanted within the training ground. And you made a point about Spurs having a new stadium. Well, we've not long had a new stadium.
No.
Lee. And there has been discussions about improving it. So, he's got that to look forward to as well, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm going to say hello to Keane. He's actually sat in the green room. I won't keep you long, Keane. And then we'll get you in and talk about the run-ins that we've got coming up. But not run-ins between us and Keane, obviously. The football run-ins. Well, it depends what he says. But no, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're not exactly got a shoddy stadium ourselves, and there's the expansion going on. But I mean, you got to. It's always nice to laugh at Spurs, isn't it? But they've lost and I can never pronounce his name, but his number one link. They said on Sky Sports today, do Spurs go for this Julian Nagelsmann, or do they go for Brendan Rodgers? Well, they don't go for either, because they're both, Julian's moved on to is it Bayern? I think he's gone on to.
Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Brendan's come out and said he's stopping at Leicester. I mean, Spurs. I think the biggest name they're being linked with now is Scott Parker.
To be honest, Scott Parker has done wonders at Fulham with the team that he's had, and I know they went down 2 seasons ago now. Last season, something like that. He's brought them back up, and he's done a really good job there, considering he's had at his disposal, sort of thing. So I can see him potentially going to a bigger club, sort of thing.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, let's not laugh too much at Spurs. It would be bad of us. Well, we could always laugh at Man United instead. Oh, Keane, hello. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How's it going, guys?
Not so bad. We've had some good news today. How are you?
Not too bad. No, not too bad. I just came off my own preview there for the Europa League game on Thursday. Very excited about, obviously, Thursday's game against Roma, a very big club we're coming up against Thursday. Obviously, Liverpool on the weekend as well, our biggest rivals so far. I think for United fans, it's probably our biggest week of our season so far.
I mean, I don't know whether I'm speaking for Scott as well, but I've never been so pleased to want Man United and Arsenal to do well in Europe, and Chelsea as well, because the more you play in Europe, hopefully the more knackered your players will be. Not wishing that any of them will break their leg, but hoping they get an injury or two, and it affect your running.
Yeah, look, I think when you look at the way United played their team on Sunday, I think against Leeds, we made a couple of changes. Obviously, Pogba, Cavani were two players who I think were very integral for the way we play lately. So to see them be rested, I think was very good. I think we'll see a full strength team against Roma on Thursday. In terms of Liverpool on Sunday, thing about it is, because we're about 13, 14 points clear of fourth now, I actually see us making changes on Sunday, because for top four, providing there's not a massive collapse and we lose next 5 games, top four is more or less done for us. So I think United probably have one eye on the Europa League now. I think United's team selection and their approach on Sunday indicate that.
Just to quickly ask, has Ollie got to win? He's not going to win. I think we agreed, Man City, it's their title now.
Yeah.
Has Ollie got to win the Europa League to keep his job next season?
No. Thing about this is, obviously we know the whole Super League, we know the whole Glazers fallout. Any Manchester United posts for Alex Ferguson, they've all kept their jobs when they finish in the top four, because the Glazers get their Champions League revenue. The only time a Manchester United manager loses their job is when they finish outside the top four and the Glazers don't get that Champions League revenue. And what the Glazers then do is invest enough money to get the club back into the top four. So I think regardless of what happens in the Europa League, Ollie keep his job. I'm behind that as well, because I think when you look at the 2 years under him, we have made progress. We have got better. We've got a lot of deadwood out of the club. Last summer, he didn't get backed either, and he didn't get any of his first choice targets, and still obviously second league now. So I think there's still progress under him. Obviously, there's a lot of Manchester United fans want him gone, even if we win the Europa League. You can't change everyone's mind. But for me, even if we don't win it, I think he'll still keep his job, because top four is more or less nearly done. Again, as I said, providing there's a collapse of epic proportions, I think he'll still be the manager come the end of the season.
I mean, I think Scott would agree with me. We've always got to say to Man United, thank you for the 80 million. But in fairness, Maguire, he is coming good now. He did go through the sticky patch. Kane, can I ask your thoughts tonight? Today, we've had the news that Rodgers has come out saying he's not interested in Spurs. He wants to stay at Leicester. Is that a surprise to you?
Not at all. I think, look, you look at the project Leicester, like Rodgers had at Leicester in the last kind of couple of years he's been there. He's done a good job. I think he's had great backing behind him. Like he's done a great job in terms of bringing young players through. Obviously, he likes James Justin, likes a Thomas, players like that. Obviously, he's working within his means at Leicester, but he's still also getting financial backing too. And I said in the comments on the video earlier on, I think if he goes to Spurs, I think that's a step down. Like that's an aging team. That's a team that needs a lot of like transfer investment. You won't get that under Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis at Spurs. Like, let's be realistic here. Pochettino never got the backing. Mourinho didn't get the backing. Rodgers would be walking into a poison chalice at Spurs because that's what it is at the moment. And when you actually look at Leicester's squad and look at Spurs' squad, Leicester's squad is better than Spurs. Like, if you look man for man, right? You look at Schmeichel in goal, probably even enough at Lloris. You look at Leicester's back four. Like, obviously, James Justin right back is a better right back than Joe Aurier and Doherty, and even Ricardo Pereira as well is a better player. You look at your centre backs; they are streets above Spurs centre backs. Like you Fofana, Soyuncu, Johnny Evans. Then you look at Spurs; they've Alderweireld, who was coming towards the end of his career. You have Eric Dyer, they have Davinson Sanchez. They can't defend. Reguilon, right? Okay, he's probably the only defender that's probably get into your side. But then you look at their midfield; it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Like you look at Højbjerg, useless. You look at like Celso, overrated. You look at Leicester's midfield, Tielemans, Ndidi, players like that, Maddison, and you have other players like Under who can come in. Just like Leicester have a way better squad. Bar the exception of Harry Kane and Son, Leicester have a better team. And it's been like you've seen over the last 2 seasons, Leicester are going to finish ahead of Spurs in these next 2 years.
I did have to laugh at the Sun earlier. I don't know if you saw this, Scott, but the Sun were announcing this morning that he was going to Spurs, and the team that he would have at Spurs would include Fofana, Castagna, Tielemans, and Maddison, and Iheanacho up front. So if he had planned, according to Spurs, as the Sun, he was taking off our team. Scott, let me ask you, because it's Man United Liverpool at the weekend. I'm a bit torn. What result as a Leicester fan would you be happy with?
See, that's a difficult one for me. It's one of those where I think, in hindsight, it's going to be either a 0-0 or a 1-0. It's going to be a very tight game sort of thing. Ideally, I'd prefer to see Liverpool win. But like I say, I do think it's going to be enough for. Yeah.
I'm torn. I don't know if you know that this Keane. Man United win the Europa League and therefore you automatically qualify for the Champions League. Does this give the Premier League an extra spot? I don't think it does it?
It does. It doesn't, no, because Chelsea finished 4th under Sarri and they won the Europa League, and no one 5th place didn't get the spot because who finished 5th? Arsenal finished 5th that year and they didn't get Champions League. So no, it doesn't. Even though, look, I think to be fair, that would be kind of a good incentive, considering like where the teams are. But Liverpool might finish 5th this year, so don't give 5th spot Champions League places.
Or even Europa Super League places,
Yeah.
Just gotta slip that one in there. As a Man United fan, and we'll just briefly touch on this. I mean, it kind of. I said on the show, to put it bluntly, I've had longer wanks than that. I mean, it literally came and went in the space of 48 hours. No wonder my wrist hurts. But, I mean, it was, as fans, what was the main thing that, as a Man United fan, you didn't like about it?
The whole lot. Like, again, 16 years under the Glazer ownership, to see how detached they are from the football club just showed it there. Like, Joe Glazer hasn't come out with a statement for Manchester United in 16 years. And the only statement he's come out with related to the club was originally released on a Liverpool website with regards to being in the Super League. Just again, it just shows the owners don't care about the fans of this football club. And it goes like that inclusion to the Super League for the Glazers to say it's revolutionary. They related it to Sir Matt Busby putting United into Europe in 1958. That disgusted me. Like that really showed how detached they are from the football club. Anyone who knows what Sir Matt Busby done in 58, obviously, we know the Munich air disaster and all that happened that year. But we're the first English team to go into the Europe that year. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, he rebuilt 10 years later and won the European Cup. To then try to relate that Super League situation to 58, like, that was disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, it did make me laugh that, you know, they were doing all this, and behind them, I think Gary Neville, there was a big flag from Matt Busby saying football is nothing without fans, and they were discussing this. But I've just seen on the website you've got increased security for the game, I think. So, I think there might be one or two protests. Scott, did for me earlier in the season, well, say earlier, let's go back 3 or 4 weeks. I was discussing that, Man City is their title, really. You know, I don't think if they lose all the games they can be caught. But I was saying probably second was outside of our. We third was probably what us and Chelsea were playing for. Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah, and I'd still say now. I think with the games that we've got coming up, I don't think we'll catch Man United, but I think that the realistic thing is we could definitely close the gap, and I think without being too confident, we should be within the top 4 come the end of the season.
I mean, Keane, I've got to be honest, I slightly disagree with that, because a couple of weeks ago I would have said, it's us, Chelsea, West Ham, the two of us three would finish 3rd and 4th. But you didn't get the result that you should have done against Leeds United. We're suddenly 5 points behind you, and we've got to play you before the end of the season. Are you worried? You know, I don't think necessarily you're worried, like you said earlier, of not finishing the top 4. And it probably doesn't mean as much to you. I mean, it's 20 million for the club, I suppose, for each place. But as a fan, if you finish 3rd or 2nd, it probably means more to Leicester fans to finish 2nd, because we don't do it that often. Sort of once every 130 odd years. But are you worried that you could catch you? Do you think we could catch you, or are you pretty confident that you'll be there come the end of the season? Because we do have to play each other.
Yeah, look, I think it's possible, because 5 points isn't a massive gap, really. Like, again, we have to play each other and we have to play Liverpool. But I think it's very important here when you look at both teams' remaining games. Obviously, we have to play each other. We have to play Liverpool as well. But Leicester have to play teams who have some stuff to play for. Obviously, you're playing Newcastle, who are fighting relegation at the minute. You're playing Chelsea as well in the league, who are fighting top 4. And Spurs, who might be fighting for European places, and we're playing similar teams who are fighting towards the bottom end of the table. So I think 2nd and 3rd, there's going to be a battle there. I think Leicester are probably safe in the top 4 now at this stage, because West Ham losing to Chelsea, I think that kind of is after kicking them down. Especially Rice and Antonio being out for them is a massive blow. Then obviously Liverpool have a bit of a gap as well. They drop points against Newcastle. Now, if they beat us on the weekend, I think that could propel them maybe to challenge Chelsea for 4th and maybe Leicester for 3rd. But it just remains to be seen kind of how all these teams play, because obviously a few of these teams have to play each other still between now and the end of the season. Chelsea have to go to Manchester City, and possibly City, and that might be the game City's clinch the league as well. So there's a lot of like moving parts in this top 4 race, in this run-in, where you say like teams aren't guaranteed to finish. And as you can see here, like Leicester have to play Southampton. Southampton are dead in the water. Like they're on the beach. Newcastle, like we look at Newcastle, like their team fighting relegation.
I think Newcastle, to be honest with you, they've had a couple of, they've not actually lost in 4 games, Newcastle. They've suddenly started to hit a bit of form, 2 wins and 2 draws. But, they're 9 points clear of Fulham with 5 to play. I can't see Newcastle losing it, to be honest with you. So Man United, I feel more confident having beaten you in the FA Cup semi-final. Sorry for rubbing that in. And then Chelsea, I see that as the most difficult game. And Tottenham, I think now Mourinho's gone, I think could just end up going into freefall. I mean, do you remember a couple of seasons ago it happened with Pellegrini at Man City? You know, once they actually announced he was leaving, that was the season we won it. You know, they couldn't win for toffee. Now, you guys, you've got, say, Liverpool, and that is probably obviously your toughest game there, apart from Leicester, of course. Villa, who do a bit
Again,
of a weird
their team were on the beach and no Jack Grealish either.
Well, I was going to say that's the thing with if Jack Grealish was in there, I think they could give you a fight, you know, but they haven't, and they don't seem a different team without him. Fulham, I think by the time you've got to that game, I think Fulham will be down, you know, and Wolves again on the beach.
Wolves away for us, guys, is one of our toughest games every season since they've got promoted back into the Premiership. Like, they always make it really hard for us. Even when they come to Old Trafford, they make it really hard for us. So I'd say, like, look, top four by that stage will be well secured. But, like, I'm hoping by that stage, that Wolves away game, we can actually just go out and hopefully second is secured by then and we can play the kids then. So obviously, we have a very good under-23 team and we have a lot of promising players coming out of that academy. And I think if we're in the Europa League final by then, what I'd like to see by that game is maybe we play the kids then, because it'd be great to give them experience. But I'm really excited with this top four race, guys, because there's so many teams in here, like Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham, Leicester. There's teams in here who all have their own individual qualities. Now, personally, for me, obviously, being a Manchester United fan, I don't want to see Liverpool anywhere near the top four. I think Thursday night football for them next year will be absolutely glorious to see. And I'm going to lie, like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to tell the Liverpool fans.
You say it as it is, Keane. Say it as it is.
Absolutely. Like, I'll have Liverpool fans on my channel this Friday for our preview. And look, I'll say it straight out to them too. But when you look at their squad, like, it's not. They don't have strong depth, really. Like, when you look at the injuries they had this year, it showed their squad depth is very poor. So, like, I think them languishing in Thursday nights next year could hamper them more again next season. Obviously, Van Dijk and that'll be back. But again, even regardless of that, their squad is very thin. Obviously, you look at West Ham, they obviously, if they get Champions League football, they might hold on to Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? They'll get Lingard in on a permanent deal. Will they go out and splash out the cash? Will Goal and Sullivan splash out? I think if Leicester get Champions League, I think Rodgers will most definitely stay. He'll get backed. And again, you know, maybe Leicester push on. Maybe see Ian Nacho's in good form at the moment. Will they maybe go out and buy a replacement for Vardy as well? Maybe in the summer, you know, because he's coming towards the end of his career now. But I think Ian Nacho could be that ready-made replacement there if he keeps up that form, you know.
I think the funny thing is with Vardy and Nacho, and Scott will probably agree with me here, is that, you know, 4 or 5 weeks ago, Scott, we were talking about who was going to replace Jamie Vardy. Now we're talking about who's going to pair Inacho because of the way that it's turned out. Would you agree, Scott?
Oh, yeah. You know, don't get me wrong, Vardy's been phenomenal for us for so many seasons, and I think when he does go, it will be a huge miss because he's adapted his game significantly since he's come to Leicester. He's always been renowned for his pace and how threatening he is towards defenders and things like that. But just since Brendan Rodgers has come in, he's been able to change his game. He's lost a yard of pace, and he just seems to be able to thread balls in a lot more instead of being so selfish, which, you know, top quality strikers do. He's trying to set up his other teammates now, and it's paying dividends throughout the team.
I'm going to ask you, I'll let you go, Keane, because like you say, you've done a couple of shows. I'm going to ask you a last question. Give me your top four in the order that you think they will finish. No pressure here. No pressure. Just remember which channel you're on.
I think the top three will stay the way it is. I think City will win the league, as much as it pains me to say. I'd love to see him collapse, but it's not going to happen. I think we'll get second. I think the gap may stay about 5 points, 4 or 5 points. I think that'll be the gap. Fourth is the toughest one here because I think Chelsea have a tough final 4 games. Really tough. I think even though I know Arsenal will probably be dead in the water by then, But that's always a tough game. That's always a tough game. They have a bad record against them. I'm going to, as much as I hate to say it, but I think Liverpool are going to nick fourth. I think they may nick it on the final day.
It will be interesting because Chelsea, like you said, they've got Man City who will be out for revenge for the Cup semi. Arsenal, which is just Arsenal-Chelsea, that's always fun. And, of course, us. And it'll be interesting to see what happens because we'll probably play them. It'll be rearranged after the
and Grealish should be back for the
FA
23rd as well. Grealish should be back for the 23rd, getting fitness for the Euros too.
So, yeah, that could be... It could go right down to the wire. Keane, thank you so much for coming on. I'd say I'd see you at Wembley in a couple of weeks, but I can't because we knocked you out the semis, didn't we? Hey, look, come on, give me a bit of fun here. It was revenge after last season. Come on.
Yeah, I know. We'll give you that one. Look, hopefully you beat Chelsea in the final. That'll be good to see. We have a few Chelsea fans on my channel, so that'll be great to see. And we'll definitely get you on my channel for the FA Cup final preview as well, Scott. You're more than welcome to come on too. And let's hope, I think, for all things' sake, that Liverpool do not finish in the top four. That's all I'll say.
And hopefully we can get you back on for the Leicester United game on this channel as well.
Yeah.
Keane, I can't say good luck for the Premier League because obviously I wouldn't really mean it, but I do wish you all the best in the Europa League, mate. It's always nice to see English teams go through. So and win it. So good luck in that. And thanks for coming on. Take care, stay safe, and speak soon.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Cheers now. All the best. Is it a nice Man United fan there, Scott?
I don't think I've ever come across one of them, to be honest.
I know. It's like I was on his channel earlier on in this, and he's a lovely guy, as you can see. And I was on his channel, and he did mine, and I'm trying to wind him up, and he just doesn't bite because he agrees with everything. You know,
No, he doesn't. And he's so how can I put it? It's so thoughtful in the way that he thinks about fixtures and everything like that, and how teams are performing. It's great to see that he's got a level head on him.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just have a look. Daz saying here, Vardy will be my favourite player ever to wear the Foxes shirt above Banks and Lineker. That's just we're all entitled to our opinion, Daz, and a lot of people would agree with you. And I think he earned a lot when he didn't go to Arsenal and he decided to stay with us. I think he kind of that added to his cult status. So Scott, I mean, looking at our run-ins, because that's what we've been talking about. This was in online early. The remaining fixture difficulty. Looking at that, I mean, Brighton. Good God, I'm glad I'm not Brighton, to be honest with you. We're up there with quite a tough one, but I'm kind of not worried about Man United and Tottenham now. Chelsea, yes, because you know we've got the double header with the FA Cup, but I'm not worried about those two games. I don't know about you.
Tottenham, I'm not worried about whatsoever.
No,
I'll be quite honest with you. I think by the time we play them, we should be near enough nailed on for the top four. If not, third place should be in the bag anyway.
Yeah.
But in regards to Man United, they're one of the teams that, track record wise, we don't seem to do brilliant against. Especially, when you look at last game of the season, it's one of those. I hope that obviously there's no injuries to any players or anything like that. But generally speaking, I think if we can shut out the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, I think we stand a really good chance. And in saying that, they're going to be exactly the same towards Iniesta and Vardy.
Yeah.
Because of the form the pair of them have been in.
Daz is saying only more injuries will maybe halt our forward march towards the end of the season. Miss Melina, big shout outs to Miss Melina and hugs. I hope you are well, Melina. And I know you were waiting on news of your dad today, and I hope it was really, really, really good news. Fingers crossed for you. I have been thinking of you. Hope he is doing okay. Thanks for popping on. We're celebrating Nacho time. I hope you're celebrating dad time, Melina. Andy's saying here, I'm kind of worried about the amount of chances Vardy had last night. 2 years ago, he would have buried them. It is, but strikers do have this problem. And, you know, last night, Brad made the point that maybe we need to get some strikers that are a bit more greedy and we'll have a shot rather than try and pass it to each other. But, you know, for me, you know, Vardy's, if it was the other way around, I think Inacho would be getting brickbats thrown at him. But I think the fact that Vardy's turning into a provider as much as a scorer.
Yeah, he is. And like I said before in my comment, since Brendan Rodgers has come in, Vardy has adapted his game. Yes, he can still run off the back of defenders, and you know, 9 times out of 10, you probably back him to score, sort of thing, or at least create a chance. Whereas now he seems to be drawing defenders out of position, especially centre backs, and he's pulling them over either to the left or the right of the 18-yard box, and he's laying it off to whoever's within the 18-yard box. And you know, in that, it just shows what Brendan Rodgers and different members of the squad have been working on.
Okay, so let's have a look then in a bit more detail at these run-ins. And I mean, first of all, this is the table. I mean, if you're still with us, Melina, you just sneak on it there in 10th place, Arsenal. But you know, I feel more confident than I did this time last year when we were in the middle of a sort of wheels coming off the wagon, left, right, and centre. We're only, like I say, those 5 points behind Man United. You know, if results do go our way, I think we could clinch second. I really hope we do, because as a Leicester fan, I think it means more to us than it would do to Man United, as long as they get the Champions League football. But look, you know, looking at the games we've got coming up, I mean, Southampton, all I can say is to you, Scott, few things. Southampton away, Friday night. Let's hope it rains. 10-0?
Yeah, it's one of those, you know, you look at last season we played Southampton and the result there, don't get me wrong, it'd be lovely if we could get anything close to that sort of result. Or that scoreline, should I say.
Yeah.
But looking at the next 2 games, I think they're going to be vital for us. Like you've said before, previously in the show, Newcastle have come on to some good form just recently, and I've actually been watching them, and you know, to try and keep them quiet, especially near the end of, well, within 70 to 90 minutes sort of thing, I think we could struggle, sort of thing. If we can go out the same way that we went against West Brom, I think we'll bury them and their heads will drop. Go on.
No, I'm going to say it is the game that worries me is the Newcastle. Bronzy, good evening there. Liverpool have an easy run in, just as much a danger as West Ham. They could be. I think the fact that they've got Man City to play is good. Is this one coming up? Yeah, Andy says there still thinks there'll be another twist in the tail. God, I hope not. I've got a bad heart. I can't do with it. I can't do with it. Southampton will be out for revenge. Yeah, you see, I've said this. Southampton have got something to prove now, because I'm sorry, I've seen, you know, we see some of the best players in the world because we're in the Premier League. We've got some of the best players in the world playing for us. That West Brom game that we played the other week was a low point for me. I think that was the worst opposition we have played for the whole season. And that includes the first time we played them. They were absolutely awful. I mean, we didn't get out of second gear because we didn't need to. Now, they have then got to a semi-final of the FA Cup, the biggest cup competition in the world, and in the whole game, they do not get one single shot on target, and that's in an FA Cup semi-final. They're not going to get relegated. They're not going to win anything. The players have virtually got well, if it wasn't for COVID, we'd probably be on the beach already. But they have got something to prove, haven't they? Like Andy said.
Yeah, they have, and it's one of those that is the result last season going to be in the back of the mind? Because let's be honest, the current manager, he was part of that team at the time. Then they've just gone and lost against us in the semi-final of the FA Cup as well, so that's going to be playing in the minds. I know they're not doing too well in the league, but as opponents, if it was me, I'd be wanting blood as a revenge sort of thing. On the game on Friday. So you can't be too careful with them. I think we've got to go out and we've got to really sort of hit them hard within the first 45 minutes.
I mean, we want the team that played West Brom get 3-0 up after 30 minutes, and then we can just sort of treat it as a training game rather than the team that turned up against Palace where we didn't turn up for the first 45 minutes. I mean, Southampton were looking at them there, that they're there in 15th, but I think their players will be going out with a point to prove. We have got a good record over them. Newcastle, like I said earlier, they haven't lost in 4. If you look at the last 6, they've lost 1 game. That is a revitalised, for whatever reason, Newcastle United. Steve Bruce is just starting to get a tune out of them for the sake of the club and his job at the right time. That is the one that worries me.
Like I say, I've been watching them the last couple of games, sort of thing, and they've only just got St. Maximin back. Now he has been viable for them. He's full of pace, but he's also full of trickery. The only thing that I would say about him is that he doesn't like to track back very much. So if we could hit them on the counter, I think that's where we're going to thrive. Because a lot of their midfield really are not sort of players that do tend to track back very quickly. But yeah, I do agree with you in regards to Newcastle. I do think that they're going to give us more of a challenge than probably what Southampton might do.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea. They've got Fulham, which you would think should be an easy game for them. But that said, they've look what happened against West Brom. Man City are out for revenge, obviously, because they got knocked out of the FA Cup. So they'll have, again, something to prove. I don't think Pep will allow his players, not to give 110% there. Arsenal, well, it's just a London derby, isn't it? That's going to be, kicking, players rather than the ball. They'll both be going for that. And, then, of course, they've got us. They've got a really, really difficult run in Chelsea, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Fulham, to be honest, they haven't. Every time that I've seen them play, they've always tried to give 110%. The problem is the quality that they're lacking, and I think that's where Chelsea may prevail on that. But like you say, with Man City, I can see them really turning Chelsea over. Arsenal will be an interesting game, especially with it being at Stamford Bridge as well. And like you say, then they play us, and hopefully we can turn them over, because with the form that Iheanacho's in at the minute, and like I say, with Vardy as well, releasing him and turning provider at the minute, if we could get Vardy to start scoring again, are fair for teams because we can be very, very good on a day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at Vardy, Inacho, and Pez, if they'd managed to score the ones that they didn't, that would have been 6-7-0 the other day. West Ham, and I've noted we've got Lucas live in the green room. Lucas, bear with us, mate, and we'll get you in a second. West Ham there, Burnley. Now, again, Burnley has suddenly started. They've lost 3, but they had a good win the other day. Not an easy place to go to. I used to live in Burnley for 20 years, and it's a cold place. Colder than Stoke on a Wednesday night, I can tell you. Everton, Brighton, they're fighting for their lives. West Brom will probably be down, and Southampton. So, probably out the 3 there, and I've had those 3 as the 3 that possibly are going to be looking for second and third and fourth. I think West Ham have probably got the easiest run in.
Yeah, on paper, I tend to agree with you. Burnley will be difficult for them. For the likes of a former Fox, Chris Wood, for example, is very dangerous at the best of times, sort of thing. But I think during sort of the last 3 games, your Brighton, your West Brom, your Southampton, I can't really see much less than getting 3 points from them 3 fixtures, all of them fixtures alone, sort of thing.
I just think it's gonna be interesting, isn't it? It's gonna, as I say, I don't know whether my heart will sort of last out or not. I mean, just moving on to the next batch of teams, and we'll have a look at Man United here. Liverpool, Villa, Leicester, Fulham, Wolves. Apart from the Liverpool game and ourselves, probably not the hardest games, but like this is. As I've just said, though, with Chelsea and West Brom, on paper, you say yes, but this year, there's just no logic to any of these games, is there?
No, there's not. And, you look at the likes of United playing Liverpool, and then you've got West Brom on the day, especially with Liverpool's current home form. They could turn them over. There's going to be a lot of points lost between sort of, I'd say, 4th place to 6th place sort of thing. And it'll be very interesting from now until the end of the season.
Well, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's have an Arsenal fan. And we're going to say good evening to Luca. Good evening, Luca.
Long time no see. How are you? Man? And keep up the work. And I watch the channel most of the time, and you're making very, very good Leicester content. And the last time we met, Arsenal beat Leicester at King Power. So Arsenal got a little bit of revenge. So
I thought you were being too nice for a while. Then you had to get in the fact that you beat us.
Yeah,
this is going very nicely. Thank you.
Ever since then, we've been crap. So we can't even beat the likes of Everton. We can't even beat the likes of Fulham and.
That's Leicester for you. I'll tell you. Arsenal for the. I mean, what? It is the Europa League or bust for you, isn't it?
It is 100%. Thursday is absolutely massive for us, and I'm very, very nervous about tonight, about Thursday night. But I'm kind of confident we can get something out of the game. I think we can get a draw and get that away goal and take it to the Emirates. But it's Unai Emery, isn't it? It's Unai Emery. He knows Arsenal very, very, very well. I think it'd be a really, really difficult game. I think we've got to go there with the right team. I know Aubameyang's out with he's just recovered from malaria, so he did train. He didn't train today, but I heard he's going to train tomorrow. But I don't think he'll be fit. Possibly be back for the second leg. All depends if Aubameyang's even going to play this season, because malaria does take a very long time to recover, and he's just recovered. Lacazette for me is a doubt. So for me, I want to see Arteta play Martinelli up top, because Martinelli's made a difference this season when he started in it, and it all started from when we played Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago when we got our first clean sheet since January, and he makes a difference on the left-hand side. And Martinelli, I would play him down the middle, because since in all competition, when he first came in the 1920 season from Brazil, we bought him for £6 million from Brazil, and I don't know which Brazil club anyway, but he scored about 11 goals in all competition, and Martinelli makes such a difference. And Brandan, our youngster from the under-23s, just signed a contract till 2025, so that's really good news for the future for Arsenal. And people like Eddie Nketiah, he can't start against Villarreal. Yeah, he scored a late equaliser against Fulham a couple of weeks ago, but that's not the point. We have to go into this game, and we've got to prove to Unai Emery that why Unai Emery got sacked. And but for this season, I think, yes, I do think the Europa League is a do or die for Arsenal, but we have to win the competition now. It's getting towards the end of the season. We've had a very crap season this season. We deserve to be where we are, 10th, 11th in the season in the league, and let's end it on a good trophy. And I'm still a Mikel Arteta out. If he does win the Europa League and somehow beat Unai Emery and then probably beat Man United in the final, I still think Arteta's got to go. I still think he's got to go, and that's it.
It's funny sometimes about having ex-players back. It's not worked out for Leicester in the past. I mean, I am you two are much too young to remember Frank McClintock when he was a manager for Leicester City, but we were goddamn awful that season. Melina, though, who's a fellow Arsenal fan, is saying she's not a fan of Willian by the look of it, and but she thinks he'll get started over Martinelli. I mean, do you think if you don't win the Europa League, then that is it for Arteta?
No, you know what, right? And people have been telling me this time and time and time again, and I don't think Arteta ain't going to get the sack, because there was a rumour going around. Obviously, you know about the Stan Kroenke situation, about Daniel Ike, a Swedish billionaire, is going to take over, and then obviously tonight, Stan Kroenke come out and said that he's not gonna sell the club. So to me, I look at it thinking, we need an owner, and we need a change now, because Stan Kroenke took full control of the club in 2018. He's been at the club as a shareholder since 2011. Usmanov wanted to buy the club in 2018, but one of the shareholders, called Lady Purcell Smith, sold the shares to Stan Kroenke, so Usmanov had to give up, and Kroenke won the battle. But Kroenke hasn't done anything. Literally, he has not done anything, and he's not made Arsenal great. He's literally not making us going downhill as a mid-table club. And we're Arsenal Football Club. We are the third biggest club in the UK. And we used to always beat teams like Leicester, Wolves, Villa, Burnley. And we used to go into these games thinking, you know what, 3-4-0 today, slap them apart. But now we don't even know how to beat anyone. I don't feel confident.
Let me ask you this question. Sorry to interrupt, Luke, but let me just ask you this question on that point. Is you said there that Arsenal are the third biggest club in the country, and I always wonder, as a fan of the so-called Big Six, what you judge that by. I mean, you know, yes, you won the FA Cup last season. Apart from, you know, that's been your glory for the last 10 or so years. And I just wonder, as a fan, because I'm old enough and ugly enough to go back and quite a way, and I can remember when Blackpool. I was having a conversation with a Liverpool fan earlier on today.
Yeah,
and we actually managed to get out for a beer, which was nice. And we were saying, like, you know, if you go back far enough. And I mean, Scott's way too young to remember this, but if you go back far enough, Blackpool were one of the biggest clubs. Bolton were, Burnley were. So how do you, judge the fact, are Arsenal any bigger than Leeds? Because traditionally
we are a big club. We are a big club. You go and have a look at Arsenal's history over the years. I know, obviously, people could say to me, like, yes, we are a mid-table club. I get that we are a mid-table club. People can class us that we're not a big club anymore. That's fine. I respect that. Yes, we don't act like a big club. We don't deserve to be where we are as a big club, but I still think we are a big club at the end of the day. We sell the most season tickets. We every time when Arsenal, before COVID happened, before the pandemic started last year, Arsenal were going on pre-season tour to places like Asia and America, and a lot of fans wanted to come and watch us, and the likes of Aubameyang and all that, and Lacazette, and
But
also
was that just not down to the Premier League?
What do you mean?
Oh, well, Scott, remember this. What was it like in Thailand when we won the Premier League? You know, our players were mauled.
Leicester, didn't you not go to like the Premier League trophy or Asian trophy or something like that? I don't know. I can't remember.
We did the international Champions Cup. You know, we beat Celtic. Yeah. We were the champions of England. But I wouldn't class Leicester as a big club. Would you, Scott?
No, I wouldn't say that we're a big club. Don't get me wrong. You know, we've had our fair share of achievement over the last couple of seasons, and it's just one of those that I think, unless you're winning trophies season after season, and you're constantly in the likes of the Champions League season after season, and you know, we could probably say that we are one of the big clubs. But until then, you know, I'm just happy being little old Leicester.
No, but the thing is, right, I absolutely agree with you. And first is first, it's nice to meet you, by the way. And but no, I get your point, because Leicester have been brilliant in the last few years. And what I like about you lot is that I have huge expectation. I respect your team. And when you won the Premier League, no one expected you lot to win the Premier League 5 years ago. But every time when you sold players like Mahrez, Harry Maguire, Kante, just sitting in a decent position. You've got James Maddison, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. You've got Vardy. Yes, I know Vardy's getting on a bit, but he still is your leading goal scorer. You've got Ndidi, one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League, in my opinion. You've got Son Yonchu, a very good centre-half. You've got Pereira, probably like the second, third best right-back in the Premier League. You've got some good players. And for me, that's what I like about teams like Leicester City. When you end up selling these players, you'll be able to replace them. You'll be able to go in and invest in other clubs. And for me, the way I look at it, right, with Arsenal, right, I know you might say that Leicester might not be a bigger club, but I get that and I respect that, because you look at Chelsea. Chelsea have been in the FA Cup final.
No, I'm not saying, no, sorry, Luca. I'm not saying we're not a bigger club. I'm just saying I don't count us as a big club full stop. But then, you know, I don't think a club can be a big club just because of they've won certain things in the past, just because they've got more fans than you, just because you've got a bit more money, therefore you've built a bigger ground. And, you know, and I think what annoys fans of the other 14 clubs in the Premier League is that, you know, clubs, if you you know, we you could say we're a big club because we finished fifth last season, so therefore we're the fifth biggest club in England at the moment, you know. But that doesn't mean that in 10 years we'll be big, you know. And you were big, as somebody said, under Wenger, you know, when you did the Invincibles, you were big then. But I wouldn't say you're big now.
No, people could say that, and you do make a very, very good point there, by the way, Chris, is that people, yes, I get that, and I respect that. What you said is that Arsenal were a bigger club years ago, back in from the Invincible days, even 2002 when Will Tall scored the winner at Old Trafford. Wenger came in. We didn't know any of these players, like Thierry Henry joined in 1999. From Monaco, Juventus, Bergkamp came in, Vieira came in, Van Persie came in. And we bought these sort of players on the very, very cheap. And nobody never knew who this. And what Arsene Wenger did when Arsenal were a bigger club, he created these players. He had a very good history, had a very good philosophy and knowledge, and that's how we became unbeaten all season. And that's why we're still the Invincibles at this moment of time. But I get your point, because we are not a bigger club, and things have a lot of change from the last 17 years. And we haven't won a Premier League title for nearly 20 years now. So, yes, ever since Stan Kroenke came in, ever since David Dein left the club. Kroenke came in 2011. We've been a different club since then. And we know we need, like, with the protest situation, we need to keep protesting, okay? Because I know Stan Kroenke is not willing to sell the club, and I get that. But when you say that, we need to keep pressuring them and pressuring them and pressuring them and pressuring them. I wasn't at the protest last week, but there is going to be a protest. I think it's on the 6th of May, but I will be there for that, and I will attend to that. Because what I liked about it is, I know this is a different topic, what I want to talk about instead of the Super League, is that I liked when all different teams came together. And I know things have changed at Arsenal. Yes, I know we have bought players, but we have spent it on the wrong players, and that comes down to the owner. That comes down to the recruitment, to the board, and we need to change. We need to change. We need to start acting like a big club again. We need to try and push into the top 4. This is going to be 5 years without Champions League football if we don't qualify, if we don't win the Europa League. And people may say that we're not.
Do you re-employ your mascot there? As Steve said, big teams don't fire their mascots.
I don't know. I remember.
I tell you what, Luca.
I was watching the live stream of the Kroenke out protest. I didn't go to it Friday. I couldn't make it, but I will be going to the next one. I think it's the 6th of May or something like that. At some point in the beginning of May. And I remember they were saying that and they were chanting the Gunnosaurus, but I think we did bring him back. I can't exactly remember, but because I think Mesut Ozil, before Ozil left in the January transfer window, when we got him off the wage bill, I think he paid to get Gunnosaurus back.
I think he did. I think some say that's the best thing he's ever done in an Arsenal shirt was pay for the mascot. Please bear with me. And this is if there's one thing I'm going to remember about this season, and there's not a lot of good things to remember, it is this. And just having an Arsenal fan on does give me a chance to play this, and I love it. I as Kevin Keegan would say, I love it. I absolutely love it. Just watch this for me, please.
I've had enough. Burnley losing 1-0 at home. I'm sick of it. Arteta, I've defended you, but you've got to go. There's the door. Tala. Honestly, Xhaka, go. Leave. Look what you're doing to me. I'm sick of it. We're losing 1-0. We're passing it round the back. Aubameyang, we sacked 50 staff to pay for your new contract, and what do? Nothing. But the blame just ain't on you. Arteta, you have got to go. I backed you till the cows come home, but now is enough. 5 points off the relegation zone. Losing to Burnley. Burnley. Take it in. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. I have had enough. I've had it up to here. It's got to go. Xhaka, you've got to go. I'm absolutely sick of this club. I'm done. Finished.
So, you know what? I mean, you can't fault the guy's passion, can you? But,
you should see my rant. You should see my rant when we lose. So.
I can imagine. Luca, I'm going to have to let you go because we're just coming up to the hour now that we've been on.
Thank you very much.
I just want to ask you, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but as somebody from a team that's not going to finish in the top 4, did I say that out loud? I think I might have done.
Yeah.
What do you
we don't deserve
think
to finish
the
top 4 anyway, so we're probably going to finish.
No, and it's good. And what I like about real fans is that they're humble. You know, we won the league once. That doesn't, like I've said, that doesn't make us a huge big team, but we know it's not going to happen every year. And a lot of Arsenal fans, listen, we're shit this year, and you have to take it in. But name me your top 4 in order that's going to be there at the end of the season.
Top 4 will be what it is now. I think what is there? 4 games to go. Manchester City, United, Leicester, and I think Chelsea will just slim it just about, because I know West Ham have had a really, really good season, unexpected, but I just think they're conceding goals at the moment, and that defeat against Chelsea is going to maybe kind of knock their confidence. But I think top 4 will be Manchester City have definitely won the title now. United second, Leicester third, Chelsea fourth.
Scott, a Man United and an Arsenal fan have got us in third. It's going to happen, isn't it? Luca, thank you very much, mate.
No
Stay
worries,
safe.
Mate. All a pleasure, mate. Cheers. Thank you for having
me. Thanks for coming on. And take care, mate. All the best.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.
This is Luca's Life. You can follow him. He's got his YouTube channel. This is Luca's Life. Please give him a follow. It's all, some of it's non-football, so it does make an interesting change. So this is Luca's Life on YouTube. Scott, I don't know. Have you heard anything today about the fixture change? Because obviously, according to Leicester City Football Club, we are playing Chelsea at 3:00 on the 15th of May at Stamford Bridge. Looked like we're all going to get in a taxi, drive over to Wembley for 5:30 to kick off and play them again in the FA Cup. But somebody said earlier, what do we think about the fixture change because of the FA Cup? But both that and the Sky site are still showing that we're playing Chelsea that day. It doesn't look like a new day's been announced.
I've not seen anything yet. It'd be interesting if they don't actually change it and they expect us to play both games.
Just make it a double header, couldn't you? You know, whatever the result is in one game, it applies to both. You know,
well, it's one of those. Do you play your weakest side in the as a Leicester fan? Do you play your weakest side at Stamford Bridge in order to play a strengthened team in the FA Cup, or vice versa?
If ever, and I can't find the post at the moment, but if ever posted that wants to just sort of post where they've seen that, because like I say, it's not showing that, because it'll be interesting because I can't believe how close the FA Cup final is. It's actually quite exciting, you know. But we've got Southampton, like I say, hopefully on a wet Friday night. We've got Newcastle United on a Friday night. See, then we've got Man United on the Tuesday. And we've got then the FA Cup final on the Saturday, where I don't think Chelsea. Let's just have a look. Chelsea are playing on the. They're playing on the Arsenal on the Wednesday, so that could do us a favour, couldn't it, Scott?
It could, yeah. Arsenal haven't been the best this season at all. No, and like Luca was saying, with having the likes of Aubameyang out, Lacazette out as well, they're really going to find it hard against a team like Chelsea. Because they have come into some form since Thomas Tuchel has taken over. So it'll be interesting to see how they play against Chelsea.
Yeah. Going to end on this, and I'm going to ask you if you can, when we finish the show, just stay in the green room, because I'll have a chat with you afterwards, if that's okay. I'm going to end on this last question. I'm going to stick my neck on the block. I've always been a kind of a glass half full sort of bloke, and I know. I am the guy that said when I was watching the Liverpool AC Milan European Cup, the Champions League final at 3-0 down, I went, that's it. That's the end of it. Liverpool are out. Then when it came to Shevchenko scoring his goal, I said that'll put a mortgage on. I wouldn't put my mortgage on him missing. He'll definitely score, and he missed. And then at 5-0 against Southampton away, I was there with my son, and I went, the second half will be boring now. We'll just stick at the 5-0. So my actual predictions, I'm not known as a brilliant pundit, shall we say, but I'm going to go, and I think we might sneak second. I really, really do. Now, see what the games the other teams have got, potential banana skins and teams playing each other. I don't think second is out the question. What are you going to go for, Scott? Where do you think we will end up?
I'd like to say we'll catch United, but I think it all depends on the next 2 to 3 games, especially for ourselves. If we can beat Southampton on Friday, beat Newcastle, which will be a tough game. I think there's strong possibilities. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be tight. I think there'll only be 1 or 2 points in it. But I just think United, with a 5-point cushion, might just edge it. So I'm going to go with third.
Well, I can say at the end of the day, I'd still take third, Scott, thank you very much for joining us this evening. It was a bit short notice, but thank you very much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will do it again. But stay.
Thank you very much, mate.
Stay in the green room, and we'll have a chat afterward. Thanks very much, Scott. Stay safe, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to Scott there. He joined a quite late notice, so I thank him for jumping on. Yeah. Oh, that was interesting, wasn't it? Man United and Arsenal think will finish third. It's got to happen then, hasn't it, really? What do you think? Yeah. What I think is I'd like to think that you would do a subscribe for me on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, and help get those numbers up. That would be absolutely fantastic. And if you want to listen to this back, give me about 10-15 minutes. I'll upload it, and all of the shows are on podcast form, so you can listen to it while you are washing up for the wife, or while you're out with her, pretending to sort of enjoy the fact that she's going clothes shopping, have it on the headphones in the ear. I never said that to you, though. But it's available in podcast form on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple iTunes Podcasts, Spotify, well, until he buys Arsenal, and Podcast Addict, to name but a few. Don't forget, you've got 3 days to get 30% off the story of Leicester City in the 90s and how the football club was run, and when we went from private to public ownership. Must go to all the W's, mindingmyownfootballbusiness.co.uk. It's the only site you can get the 30% off. It is only for April, and Barry, the first chief executive of Leicester City, will sign it with a personal message for you. We've got a game on Friday. Could it be 10-0? Be lovely, wouldn't it? Let's hope it rains. As Jeff Peters said on Talk Sport, it's Friday, it's Southampton away. If it rains, it could be 10-0. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we're going to be talking to Matchday Vlog Mike. He's going to come back on. I'm talking to him more than I'm talking to my family at the moment. We're playing Southampton that often. And then on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, I'll be back with Craig, and we'll be doing a full preview of the show. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in. Thanks to Melina. Fingers crossed. Hope your dad's okay and he gets home safe. And thanks to Keen, and thanks to Luca for coming in and giving us their views as well. Stay safe, guys. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Good night now.
Hi, I'm Smith here. Be sure to watch and listen to Chris on Leicester Till I Die TV. You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels. Up the Foxes!
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all them social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.